Hello, everybody. My name is Eric Lawyer. Welcome to Best Next Step. This is my second try for this stream. The first time my mic was muted, so probably wasn't all that interesting. But this time we're going to be better. We got the mic working. Please let me know if you got any technical issues as you're listening, and we'll go for it. So Stepwise is a library I've been working on for open source, what I call one-button storytelling. I've been interested in interactive storytelling for a long time. And have kind of been, I guess, subconsciously playing with this idea of one-button storytelling for a while. Kind of maybe most notably in a work called Strange Rain, an app that was for iOS and iPad. It came out 2010. Recently got an update for Apple TV. And my interest in is really in exploring other ways of doing interactive storytelling that aren't just about making plot choices. So usually when we're talking about interactive story, we're talking about deciding does a character do X or do Y, and really are we exploring multiple endings or things like that. And that's all cool, but for me, I guess maybe coming at it from a musical point of view, I'm interested in more the performative moment-to-moment aspect of interactive storytelling. So ideas about not so much deciding what happens, not deciding what happens in the plot, but deciding when things happen, the same way a musician decides when they're playing the next note. And a good example of this you'll see here in Strange Rain, which is what I was using for the title screen. This is a rain simulator, basically. It's showing you a rainy day. But if you tap on the remote or on the screen, if you're talking about the mobile version, you're getting thoughts. You're getting bits of a story step by step. You don't know exactly what you're going to see or read, but you control when it's happening, and there's music that's playing. There's a musical phrase that happens each time you step. So it really becomes a way of treating a story like an instrument, which is something that I've been interested in for a long time, and others have been playing with as well. So I really wanted to kind of dig deep into this, also interested in getting away from this siloed mode of creation, where we make a project, we put some storytelling in it, and the storytelling is so tightly married to the project that once the project is gone or it's out of public eye or technically it doesn't run anymore, that content is just fused with it and it can't get out. So I've been interested in ways of helping content be more portable, and again, fusing that with this idea of one-button storytelling. So all that led to this library called Stepwise. And what I want to do today is just kind of introduce it, a little bit of what it can do. I've got some examples on CodePen that we can look at and play around with and just see where we end up. So feel free to throw any questions or anything into the chat. I'll be checking that out. And even going forward, requests for text that you want to see rendered either in this title screen or just for examples as we're playing around. So let's jump into, first of all, just show you the GitHub page. So if you go to github.com/elawyer/stepwise, you'll jump here, or if you just go to that page that's in the URL you see down below. You can get the basics of how to get it up and running. Stepwise is a jQuery plugin, but it also, there's a Unity version of it that's a little bit behind the jQuery plugin, but it's very easy to kind of integrate and get up and running with it and have your own step-by-step, one-button step storytelling in your projects. So, all right, let's look at some examples. So there's a Hello World example in the GitHub page that is shown here in this CodePen. So if you search for me on CodePen, if you search for eLawyer, E-L-O-Y-E-R, you'll find these examples there. And this one is just the minimal example that pretty much just replicates what's on the GitHub page. So as I click, it's advancing one step through the story. Stepwise content is formatted in something called Stepwise XML. And Stepwise XML is just a way of representing the individual steps in a story as they will be experienced as you advance. I like to say that Stepwise only has one command. It only has one method. Really, it has more. But the main method is this one here on the right, stepwise.nextStep. And all that does is says, give me the next step. And so you can connect that to whatever events in your app you want to. In this case, I've got it attached to the mouse down event. in this web page, so that every time I click, we're requesting a new step. And we've just got two steps here, one that says hello and one that says world. All right. So let's jump to a little bit more elaborate example. This is one I built and formatted in such a way that we can actually put the Stepwise script, the Stepwise XML, inside the HTML panel here. So here we see that same hello world script, but instead of being in an external file, it's just right here in the HTML, so we can edit it. So, I can change this. Well, let's see, first of all, confirm that it's working. So this one's also wired up to respond not just to mouse click, but to keyboard taps, key presses. So I'm just stepping through hello world here. So I can do things like change the text. Let's make this goodbye world, kind of ominous. And now as I step through, it's showing us goodbye world. Okay, I can add as many steps in here as I want. Let's add another narration step in here called wonderful. Goodbye, wonderful world. Okay, so really a stepwise script is at its heart a list of items that you're moving through one piece at a time. And because we've got it tied to pressing keys here, it already starts to kind of feel like an instrument. Something that we're playing as we're stepping through, tapping keys and moving forward. Now, if this were all that it did, it wouldn't be all that exciting, but we can do more with it. We can play around with it. And so let's begin to do that. I'm going to jump to another example here. This is called Stepwise Slab Text. And it's called that because instead of just using this standard Helvetica, default presentation, I'm using a jQuery plugin called Slab Text. And it was created based on an algorithm I wrote a while back for formatting text in boxes. So here's the web page for Slab Text. It's by Brian McAllister. And as it says here, it's a jQuery plugin for producing big, bold, and responsive headlines. So it'll take text and figure out how to measure the size of the characters and split it according to lines and then scale the lines up so they're the same width. So you get some nice graphic typography going here. Okay, so what I've done is taken Slab Text and dropped it into this CodePen example here, so that now when we do hello world, every time I hit a key, we're getting the headline style text instead of just the standard stuff what we had before. So I'm going to change the view here so we get all our code and stuff on the left, so we get a better view of what we're doing. And I'm going to close down the JavaScript and the CSS. Okay, so let's play with putting some different content in here so we can get beyond the world of hello world. So let's jump to good old lipsum.com and grab some lorem ipsum text to start with. Now this is a big old paragraph of text, and I don't want to get a giant paragraph just all at once. So I put together a CodePen called Sentence Splitter, Stepwise Sentence Splitter, that includes the ability to just paste text in, and it generates the stepwise code based on that text, splitting it into sentences. All right, so let's copy and paste this code into our slab text example. So right here, we've got our script here in this div called source. So I'm just going to paste in the new stepwise script and tidy it up so we get our indents. And let's see what we got. Aha. So now we've got paragraphs of text. Actually, these are sentences that are being rendered by the Slab Text plugin in this headline format. Okay. So we can start to see how just graphically we can do interesting things even with such a simple mechanic as pressing a key to get the next item. But let's get some more comprehensible content here. I came across recently this poem generator. This is at poetrygenerator.ninja. This is by Zachary Skoll, and it is a random poetry generator using a Bacchus-Naur algorithm for those who are interested in the technique behind it. And it generates these poems. And apparently a couple of the poems were actually accepted into poetry journals. So you could say this poetry generator passed the Turing test. But anyway, you can just click this button, generate new poems. So I'm going to grab one of these and use the sentence splitter utility from before. I'm going to paste the text of it right in here. And the sentence splitter is going to dutifully generate one line per sentence. I'm going to grab that, oops, and paste it in to my slab text example here and just replace the script that was there. Tidy it up. All right, and here we go. I was without doubt the mother oyster there in the morbid archipelagos. When it looked me with its careful springtime eyes, it had neither hips nor nose but cedar foams on its sides. I wish to make a line within, and every abstraction many times hidden in a reflection, and so forth. So already we've got this performative poem. It's moving forward every step, every tap, and giving us a visual text experience. Okay. So let's